So first, Danny is going to talk about the reports. We're now able to access those directly in the tool, which is great. And this is the section that will pertain to enrollment tool staff and service tool users. After we finish the report section, it will mostly be dealing with the service tool only. So anyone who's on from the enrollment side is welcome to hop off after that point. Then we're going to talk about the new search feature that's in the service tool, go over the other tool updates that have been released, and then I'll share some resources that are going to be coming your way as these tool revisions are finished. Danny, I'll keep on the slides and you can just let me know when I should change.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Sounds good. Okay. Let's go to the next slide. So to access the reports in the tool, on the right side of your screen, underneath where you see yourself as a username, there's a drop-down menu, and you can see where in this slide how it's highlighted export site data. That's where the reports are. They're under export site data.
I can show my screen where everyone can find that.
That'd be great.
Going to be a little bit of back and forth between the slides and the tools, so bear with us. All right, so this is the service tool, but you can access this just from the regular home page. You'll go up to this account right here, and then you'll see export site data. And this is the menu. So the enrollment tool reports are up here, service tool reports down here. And then I think Danny will talk about it more in depth, but you'll be able to select your site. And then if you select a site with multiple housing authorities, it'll prompt you to select the specific housing authority.
I'm not sure. Yeah. I'm not sure if people who, because you're logged in as the super user right now, Zoe, you're able to select sites, but what it looks like when someone logs in from a particular site, it might just be for their site.
Yeah, mine just shows my site.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense. Sorry
Great,
about that.
thanks. Thanks for confirming that. Great. So then I'm going to first talk about the employment tool reports. That's the ETR, employment tool reports. And then I'll talk about the service tool reports. So right now we're currently still emailing these to you once a week. We've noticed some things in these reports that need tweaking. So I'd say for right now, keep looking at the ones that we're emailing you, and we will let you know when all the numbers here are exactly what they want them to be. So yeah, I would say for now, I think probably until we release batch 2, you want to be still refer to the reports that we're emailing you. Let's see. So there are 5 enrollment tool reports. For the 2 PHA sites of Twin Cities and Pittsburgh, these reports are available either for both PHAs combined or for each PHA separately. And to download the report for both PHAs combined, simply don't select a PHA. So you can see on the screen here, this example for Twin Cities, and it says select a PHA. If you don't select a PHA, you'll get both of the PHAs together. So I know that'll be important. And then when you want to get the enrollments for just one of the PHAs, then do select a PHA. And for all the other sites that are one PHA site, you don't have to do that. It'll just be for your PHA for the site. The reports are in Excel format. So I wanted to do, now I'm going to share my screen here. So I'm going to go to Share my screen, thank you. Okay, and you can see my screen. So I'm in the test version of the tool. So these are not real participants. And so I'm going to go to account here, and I'm going to see where it says just export site data. And so I'm going to pick employment tool report number 1. So I'm going to do that, and I'll just Brandywine's not a site anymore in the demonstration. I'll select Brandywine because there are some test participants still in the test version. And I'm going to download the enrollment report. So then I click this button, download enrollment report. And then I'm using a Google Chrome browser now. What happens when you download, you can set up in your browser, but I think this is just going to go to my download folder. So you can see up here how this report has been downloaded. And the name of the report, the file here is etr1 _ all enrollments _ the date, and it's a CSV file. And this is going to say show in folder right up there. So I can look at the folder where it's at. And that's right here. This is my downloads folder. So that's kind of the default, that when you download reports, they'll go to your download folder. But depending on the browser that you're using, you can set what happens to a downloaded file, and you can save it to a particular location if you don't want it to go to the download folder. So I'm gonna click on this etr1 all enrollments file that I just downloaded so that we can see what it looks like. So here it is. It opens up in Excel, and you can see that the first column, where there's a lot of information, is at a standard width. So we need to just widen this so we can see what's there. For the 2 PHA sites, I just wanted to note, this is one of the things that we need to fix, is right here. You can see that it says the name of the site here. I'll make this a little bit bigger so you can see what's going on here. You can see it says the name of the site, but I don't know if you noticed, I picked one of the PHAs for this site, and it's not yet showing which PHA. So that can obviously be confusing, because right now these numbers are for just the site that just for the PHA that I picked. So we're going to put the name of the PHA there. And that should be ready by batch 2, which is in about 4 weeks, November 20th. Is when batch 2 will go live. And so this is the employment tool report number 1. So let's go back to the slideshow. If you can put that up, Zoe. Yep. So let's go to that next slide. So this is these are reports that you've been looking at for a long time. So they're going to be the same reports in the tool. This is a new one. This is called Other Adult Consents, and so this gives information about the non-head of household adults who the study is asking for consent and whether they've given consent. So you can see that it's got first counts of families, and then in the bottom there it has counts of individuals. So counts of families, it has you can just see it goes through the rows. Number of households with at least one other adult, and then the number of households with all of the other adult consent forms collected, with some but not all of the other adult consent forms collected, and with none of the other adult consent forms collected. And then here, at least one other adult has granted consent there. So this is the new report that's in the tool. Right now, this is in the tool, and we have to, we have a couple fixes that we need to make for this one. So this one's not quite ready yet. Let me stop there and let me just see if there are questions about employment tool reports. Are there questions about the employment tool reports before I move on to the service tool reports? You can either come off mute or put them in the chat.
Sorry, enrollment.
What?
Just you accidentally said employment reports.
Oh, yes,
Janie
I'm
was
sorry.
just clarifying
Sorry.
in the
Yes,
chat.
yes.
Enrollment.
Enrollment tool report, sorry.
Hi, this is Antonetta at Pittsburgh Metro. I have a question. I think you already maybe addressed this in the beginning, but I wanted to confirm. I'm looking at the reports and the numbers are not accurate, and that's why you said to keep referencing yours. You know, you're aware of that, not
Yes.
just like the titles. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. That's right. That's right. Some of the numbers are accurate and some of the numbers aren't accurate. And so it's best to not look at these reports yet. Yep. Okay. Any other questions about the enrollment tool reports? Okay, let's go to the service tool reports.
Anyone who's on from the enrollment side, you can feel free to hop off now. It won't be super relevant to you going forward, but if you have any questions after the fact, feel free to email us.
Okay. So these are the service tool reports. There are two new ones here, Service Tool Report 9 and Service Tool Report 10. The other 8 of them you're receiving right now through the file transfer website. The as far as readiness, I'm gonna put this in the chat. So 1, 3, 5, 9, and 10 are all checked out. So the new ones, 9 and 10, are ready, and 1, 3, and 5 are 1, 3, 5, 9, 10 already. But we've seen some issues in the other ones. I'm gonna do a demo with Service Tool Report 1, which is the active participants list, to just show you about how to do some sorting and how to make it more usable in Excel. So I'm going to share my screen here. I'm back in the tool. So I'm on this screen here for Service Tool, and so I will select a site. I'll select the same Brandywine site, and I'm going to click on Service Tool Report number 1, and then I'm going to click right here where it says Download Service Tool Report. So I'll click on that, and it's going to download the file again up here into my Downloads folder. So then I'm going to click on the Show in Folder, so you can see here's my Downloads folder, and so here's this report that I just downloaded. So I'm going to click on this one, and it will open it up in Excel. So I'm opening this one up in Excel, and you can see that some of these dates, we need to widen the columns in order to see them. And then also you can see that the labels here, these are the column labels. you can't quite read all of them. So I wanted to show you how quickly you can read all of them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the names of these columns. So these are the titles of the columns. You can see how I just selected it right here, all these titles of these columns. And then I'm going to go up here where it says wrap text. And that's going to wrap the text so that we can read the names of each column. So I hit wrap text. And now you can see that that makes it clear what the names of all these columns are. And I'm gonna widen this column here so we can see the date there. And we're going to be another tweak to this report is it's going to come out alphabetized here by last name. So right now it's not alphabetized. So I want to show you how you can do sorting, and you can do this to sort it by last name, or you can sort it by any of the columns. Like you could sort it by current program phase if you wanted to, or you could sort it by primary coach assigned. So again, to sort it, you would just select you'd select the information here. So you can see I selected the column titles, and then I selected all the information there. And then I go to the data tab. So you can see the names of these tabs here on Excel, and this one says data right there. So I'm going to click the one that says data. I click that one there. And then on this ribbon, you can see where it says sort. So I'm gonna click on sort. And you see what happens. It brings up this little dialog box. And what you want to do is where it says my data has headers, because I had selected the names of the columns. So yes, my data has headers. And then to do a sort, you just click down this pull down menu, and it's going to name all your columns. So you can sort by whatever you want to. So we want to sort by last name, and I'm going to click OK. And then it gives you the list of all the participants and then sorted by last name. And then if you wanted to sort, for example, by current program phase, again, you would just hit sort. And you'd pull down this menu here, and you would say current program phase. And then it would just sort by current program phase. So that's one of the nice things about having this report in Excel, is that you can sort this information about the participants any way you'd like. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing there. And then let's go to the next slide. And at the CCD Summit, I had shown these are the same slides as CCD Summit. So these are two new reports that we hope will be helpful. So this is Service Tool Report number 9. So this is all the participants assigned to mobility services. And we think that this one will be useful for communicating with the PHA. For the mobility service providers who aren't already in a PHA, this one has the PHA ID, so you can talk to the PHA. You'll have the name, you'll have the ID, and then there've been there've been just a few participants who've been assigned to CMRS who've chosen to withdraw from the study, but in this report you'll be able to see that they've withdrawn from the study. So those participants who've withdrawn from the whole study and are not just kind of inactive, but they've withdrawn from the whole study, they're not going to be included in all the other service tool reports, but in this one you'll just be able to see them. So that's good. So you know what's happened to them. It'll say that they've withdrawn from the study. And then if we go to the next slide, which is Service Tool Report 10, this is all the owner information. So, on the owner information form, when you're entering a property owner, there's like a lot of fields on that form, on the property owner information form. This report just basically lists out all the information that's on the property owner information form. So this makes it easy to see what's all the information you have about all the property owners. So there's a This is showing some of the variables, but there's actually lots more variables, and this report has all of them. Any questions about service tool reports? Here's questions. I see they're in the chat. Let me read them. Accurate last contact and staff member. Okay. 2 questions. Are we able to edit the disbursement and deposit entries if mistakes or duplicates were made? So that's a great question, and Zoe's going to be addressing that. We are able to edit the disbursement amount now for some of the disbursements. If we match another household member to a unit that was previously matched to another household that was either denied or no longer interested in the active unit, do we still need to make a second unit entry, or will the updated service delivery tool allow for a unit to be rematched? My understanding is you don't need to enter. You don't need a second unit entry. That you can still use that same unit. You only need to enter each unit in there once, and you can refer that same unit to more than one household.
Yes. Yeah, I included that in my response, and if you're confused about that or you're not sure how the process works, again, I can show you one-on-one at office hours.
All right, thank you, Zoe. You had already answered that. Okay, I'm gonna turn it over to you, Zoe. Thank you.
Okay, great. All right, so the first update I'm going to talk about is being able to do a new search in the tool or resuming an existing search if a participant has had to pause their search for whatever reason. So I'll give a little bit of background about this, and then I will show you kind of how it works in the tool, and the 2 options that you'll have. So some background. Participants are going to be in phase 7 with their services complete status. In a couple of cases, one is if they've had to pause their housing search midway through for some reason, or anyone who's gone through the full search process and has a documented search outcome. They'll be sitting in that phase 7 section. Services complete is the official status, and I'll show you in a little bit, but the tool has been updated now so that the participants table on the main dashboard is separated. So your active participants are in one place, your inactive participants are in another place, and then anyone who's in this phase 7 services complete is in a third table. So they should be super easy to find, and they won't be clogging up your list of active participants. So you'll have 2 options. You can have someone in services complete begin a new search. So this could happen for a variety of reasons. We can't cover all of them, but if a participant moved and is not satisfied with their new situation, they want to do a second move, that might be a time where you start a new search for them. Or if they've had to pause their services because of timing or something else, but they want to resume, and it makes sense for them to kind of start with a fresh plate. On the other hand, someone in services complete might just need to resume the search that they had paused. So if they'd paused their services because of timing or something, and now they just want to pick back up, there's a way now in the tool for you to officially mark them as resuming their search. All right, so there are 2 ways to get to this new search or resume search pop-up. I'm gonna share the tool now and show you what that will look like. Okay, so the first way is if I was going to be moving somebody who I had put as inactive and I wanted to move them back to active. Also, can everyone see this okay? Is it big enough? So to change a participant status, we go to the household information form, and the household status is right here. So you see the 3 statuses. They're currently inactive. I want to move them back to active. So I switch it, and then I have to hit save for it to go through. And then I'll get this pop-up. New search, resume existing search. If I did this by accident or something, I can just close it out, move them back to inactive. I'll close that. The other way is So if I go to this services complete table, this is giving me everyone who has services complete status. This is the test tool, so some of our data isn't exactly what it looks like in real life. So you'll see we have like some phase 4 people, some phase 3 people who are on this table, but how it's really supposed to be is that everyone who's in the services complete status is also in that phase 7 services complete. So all right, so the second way to get to that new search option is to take someone who's in the services complete status and move them to any other phase. So that's something that you would probably be doing naturally if you had, touched base with someone who is in the completed search status and they said, I'd like to try again. Can you, I want to start again, getting some new unit referrals. It would make sense. The way the tool works is you open them up and you switch their phase from the completed search to whatever phase it made sense for them to be in. So that's how you'll go about doing this the same way. So that has to be within a contact. And you'll get this little reminder. It says, change the phase of this phase 7 household in order to initiate a new search or resume the existing search. So that will serve as a reminder, hopefully, if you forget how to do it. So you put in the contact details. I'm going to say that I'm starting a new search for this person. And then I'm going to change the phase of the household. And I'm going to put this person back into phase 2. So when I do that and hit save, it'll give me this pop-up. It says, do I want to start a new search or resume an existing search? In this case, I want to start a new search with this person. So it's going to end the contact for me. And then the person's going to automatically be in my active table now instead of the services complete. So it's this person right here. I see that their phase has been moved to pre-move appointment. Their status is now inactive, so they're right here where I need them to be. When I open up their household report, you'll notice a few things. One is that they don't have any activity history, no contact history, no referred units. This person doesn't have a disbursement history, but if they had previous disbursements, you would see them there. So that is one thing that will carry through. If I'm going to start a new search with this person, but it's very likely that I'll need to see some of the information that I did with them in their initial search. So I can access everything from their first search using this household report for search 1 link that's in the household report. It also gives me the enrollment date. That's because the date that this household was enrolled is also the date that their first search started. If I were to begin a third search for this person, I would have a second link right here. It would say household report for search 2, and it would tell me that the date of that household search was today's date. So the old household reports will be labeled with the date on which that search started. If I open up the old household report, I'll see all the information from his previous search. I can see all of the phase transitions, any notes that I've had, and I can see all the activities that I've already gone through with this household. These are in a read-only format, so I can open anything up and see the information, but I can't edit it, and I can't copy paste it either. It's really just there for your reference. One second. So these slides sort of just go over what I just showed you. The contact will end, the household will appear on the active households table. You'll have a new blank household report with all blank activity forms, and anything from the old search will be accessed in the old household report in a read-only format via this link right there in the new household report. If I were to have selected resume an existing search, the main difference is that the household will still appear on the services complete table. So you'll have to manually change their status back to active through the household information form, like I showed you in the beginning. But the phase will be correct. So if I move someone from phase 7 to phase 4, and I indicate that I just want them to be resuming their existing search, I'll see them in that services complete table, but they'll be in phase 4. And that will kind of be a signal to me that I just resumed this person's search. I now need to make their status active because they're active again. They've resumed their search. Any questions about this? I know this is a major change, and we'll send out a guidance document that goes over this so that you have it on paper. But any initial questions about how this works?
Sorry if you covered this already or you're going to cover it shortly, but so all of our searchers that are currently like paused in their search, we put them into phase 7. Is that what you were talking about, the difference between an active and an inactive?
Yes. So anyone
should we go back in and change them to 4 and then switch them to inactive?
Anyone who's had their services paused, phase 7 is the right place for them. So that's correct. They should be in services complete. They should be in that services complete table in phase 7. Inactive is meant for someone who you haven't been able to reach. And we have a change to that that's coming in the next batch, and we'll send out some kind of updated guidance about that. But that will stay the same. If I've had to pause my services, I go to phase 7. Okay, I see some other questions. When will we place someone in the inactive status? So I just touched on that. Right now, the inactive status is for someone who you haven't been able to get a hold of. There are some other instances where it may make sense to use that status, and that is coming. We're going to have subcategories and like a guidance document that will be super in detail. And the goal is just to make it like very cut and dry for you so that it's, you don't have to think about it too much. This situation, they go here. This situation, they go here. The difference between resuming an existing versus a new search, it just is what makes the most sense for the participant. For example, if I have been paused for a long time, if it's been like 6-7 months, a lot of things in my situation might have changed. Like it might make sense for me to have a whole new pre-move appointment and everything. And from your end, it might make sense to just start me fresh, new activity forms, blank household report, and just like pick it up from the top. But it's also possible that I was only paused for a month or 2, and it might not make sense for me to start over with a whole fresh set of activities. It might make sense to just resume my search, move, I'm going to be active, you're resuming it, and everything stays the same. I'm just working from that same household report that I've been working with you on. Do we place inactive in phase 7 or let them remain where they became inactive? You can leave them in the phase that they became inactive. They'll move to that inactive table, so that should help clear out your dashboard. They won't be like clogging you up. You won't get them confused with anyone else in phase 4. They'll be separate. Any other questions about that? I know it's a little like blurry with the inactive stuff right now, but after all of the revisions are done, it'll be a lot clearer. Okay, great. I will move on to the other tool updates. This is like the biggest one, so just want to make sure we got that out of the way. Okay, so I already mentioned this and you might have seen it already, but the main dashboard organization has been revamped a little bit. So we are separating the unit tables by availability and unavailability, plus some new unit table columns. So we mentioned unit number or apartment number, contract rent, and then now you can add a date that the unit will become available if that's relevant. And that will show up in that available on column. and you see the unit number is the second column right there next to address. The households, I touched on this. We have active, inactive, and services complete. When you change someone's status via the household information form, they will automatically be put on the correct table that corresponds to their status. We also now have a new inactive status for property owners, and I have a slide about that, so I'll talk more in detail, but this is just to show you that they will be moved over onto a separate table. That should help keep just your list of property owners more manageable. All right, some changes to the household report. I'm gonna list these and then I'll show you what they look like in the tool. So there's an add note option where you can generate a text only note that will be time-stamped. So that's different from a contact. This is just if you need to write a note about a participant. The notes will appear in the contact history section of the report. So they'll be just like in that main list with all of your contacts, but it'll be clearly different from a contact because there won't be a contact method or anything like that. There is an editable text box for program next steps and for general household notes on the household report in like that main first section. We've also added the enrollment date to the household report just so you can have it more visible. And a big one is that the referred unit section of the household report has a collection of hyperlinks that each open a new tab to link directly to a unit report and a property owner report for a unit that the household's been referred to. So I will show you what I mean by that because obviously it's easier to see it. All right, so household report, you can see the enrollment date here. This is the add note feature. So I could just put in a note like save that. And now when I go to my contact history, it'll show up here. Note added by shows me who added it, and then whatever notes. And as always, the star will pin them. So I'll close this referred unit section I was talking about. So this household has had 3 units referred to them, and it lists here the unit, the owner name, and just the link to the activity. So I can go directly to this unit report. I recommend opening it in a new tab so that it doesn't navigate you away from the household report. If you don't know how to do that, you just right click and then select new tab. That will bring me directly to the unit report. So instead of having to go back to the dashboard, to the unit table, find the unit, I can just jump right to it, which hopefully will make things a lot less clunky. From here, I can see like disbursements that are associated with that unit. So I can easily see that this household that I was just on, I paid them an application fee. There's a few application fees here. If I go to the owner, I'm going to do the same thing, right click, open in a new tab. This is going to show me the owner report. This is really helpful because in the unit history of the owner report, it will show me all of the like activities that this owner has done in association with this unit. And I can see this doesn't apply here, but it tells me the household. So if there was an activity that was associated with Laura O'Connor, it would show up right here. Also, the unit history used to only show available units, and it's been updated so that it will show you anything, any unit. So unavailable, available, regardless of what the unit status is, you can see the full history from the property owner report. And then this link will just open up the activity for me, the unit referral activity, if I need to make any edits to that or any updates. So contact form changes. There is now a cancel button for beginning a contact, which is great. Hopefully less accidental contacts. One thing to note, you can only cancel a contact. You can only cancel a contact before an activity or a phase change has been started. So the tool is going to assume if I open an activity and if I open a contact and I start an activity, it wasn't an accident and we don't want you to cancel it. So you can cancel it before you do anything. We've also added an option where you can mark if a contact was unsuccessful. So if someone was a no-show or they didn't answer, and hopefully that will kind of help you track how many unsuccessful contacts a person has. And that kind of ties into the inactive status. If someone has like a whole bunch of unsuccessful contacts over months, that should be a sign they can go to inactive. There's a new method for hard copy mailed letter if you want to be recording those. And then we've also added a staff field to the contact form, and that will work for a scheduled contact if you need to schedule a contact on behalf of someone else, or if you're in a contact and you just want to show your other staff members that you performed that contact. And that field will show up on the contact history and in the scheduled contact list. The unit report, some smaller changes. It will list the opportunity area and it allows the user to enter a date where the unit will come available. So I mentioned that in the unit dashboard, but that is now a field on the unit report. So if you're entering a unit or editing a unit, and the owner tells you it's not available, but it is going to be available in a month, you can put that in and it'll show up on the dashboard for you. All right, so this is the inactive option for a property owner, and I'm going to share my screen to just show you what this looks like. So let me go to this property owner. And I will edit them. So same thing, all the same fields. And it's down here, so it's kind of at the bottom, but it says, do you want to mark this property owner as inactive? And I can hit yes, explanation. So, you know, if I've checked in with this property owner and they no longer own their building or any building, I could say, you know, no longer save that. And then when I go to the property owner dashboard, that person will now show up on the inactive table. The household information form also has some edits. The adjusted gross income field now allows for commas. That's not a major change, just sort of a fix. We added a notes field to the income and voucher page. And then the PHA field is now called PHA at enrollment. And then there's a new field called current PHA, so that if somebody has ported to a different housing authority, you can indicate that. The 2 questions. What exactly does the unit history tracks any activities hold on. So you're on the property owner report and it gives you the unit history and it lists all of the activities that have pertained to units associated with that property owner. So if I own 2 units, unit 1 and unit 2, and unit 1 has been referred to 2 people and I've gotten 2 application fees and 1 security deposit, the unit report will list that out. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and in some ways it's the same kind of information that's also sitting in the contact history, but it's organized by unit. So all the things for the same unit are together. It's kind of a little easier to think about and read. Yeah.
And the pinned property owner note, I'm gonna come back to that because I don't know off the top of my head. Actually, this was the end, so I can come to it now. Danny, is that just the same as a regular pinned note?
Yeah, but the pinning happens under the contact history section. So just like on the
I
household
see.
side, when you're in that contact history and you see those stars, you can click on them and that'll bring it. That's how you pin a note. Anything you want to make sure you have easy access to, you can pin. I'm not sure how much folks are using the pin function.
So just here, you would start on,
Yeah.
and then it would show up in pin notes section.
Yeah. Zoe, there's a couple things that I wanted to see if you could demonstrate that you talked about in the slide. So the first one, if you go to Bob Hope, I think it's a good person to demonstrate on. So if you go to service delivery and you get Bob Hope, what I wanted to look at was just the editability on the household report right in that first section. So see that first section, it's kind of small font, but it says expected date of next annual check-in edit. So you can edit your next check-in. So if it's someone you haven't talked to in a long time, but you want to edit the date of the next annual check-in, you can just do it right there. So that's easier than it was before. You don't have to dig into an activity form or something. It's just that's the date. And then this program status next steps, which is a field that's on the household information form. What we've done is try to make it easier access to that next step. So you don't have to. You could go into the household information form, or you could just edit it right here, because next steps is kind of an important thing. What's going on with this person? What's the next thing? So you can edit it right there from this household report.
And I'm realizing that I totally didn't talk about the editable dispersant.
Oh,
so
right,
I'm gonna do that now.
Yeah. Yes.
So you'll see this little edit button in all of your disbursements. So you just hit that. It'll pull up the disbursement. Right now, the only thing that you can edit is the amount. Right now, the only thing that you can edit is the amount. So I'm gonna move this from $13 to say $15.99, and then I'm gonna save it. You do have to refresh, but now you will see that updated amount right here. So that should be helpful. Right now, it doesn't work if you edit the date or the purpose, but we wanted to just let you be able to edit the amount because I know that was a pressing need. Another thing, in some cases, depends like how much has been dispersed, but if I want to change this amount, say to like for $200, it will tell me that the disbursement puts the household over its maximum budget. That might not be the case. Temporarily, while it's kind of in this being edited mode, it's counting like the new value and the old value. So it's showing you that more has been dispersed than it actually has. But as soon as you save it and close it and refresh, it will fix itself. So that was just this one. And I can look at the tracker. They still have money left. They didn't go over. You'll also notice that this shows kind of a funky, super long decimal. You can ignore that. It's just a rounding thing. The tool before wasn't recording cents. We needed to fix it so that you could put cents in because that's important. So this will also be a number that makes sense for money.
And one more thing that I want to see if you could demonstrate is to go into a unit that's unavailable and just demonstrate how you can put in the date when it's going to become available. So if we go to unavailable.
This one, edit the unit. So it's still unavailable, but I have this box here, and this might become available on November 1st. I'm gonna save that.
Yeah, so it's right there at the bottom of the unit information form. You can say when it's going to be available.
Then when I go to my unavailable units, oh, that didn't work. and that's fine, but that date is there now. Anything else?
Maybe just other questions. Here, question.
Marking that to 0.
I think
You-
marking it to 0
you
should
correct.
work.
Yeah, that should work.
Yeah.
Combine participant reports in Excel for the unique ID. I'll adjust the second one, that's easier. The notes function, that's completely up to you. I know that some people were frustrated, they wanted to like write something about a household that didn't have to do with a contact. So that's completely your discretion. If you don't think it's useful, you don't have to use it. If you do think it's useful, great. Are deposits editable? Property owner disbursements are not editable.
Yeah, not currently.
Yeah,
Yep.
so because a security deposit is like, it's a disbursement, but it acts kind of different. It's more like a property owner activity. So the editability is not going to be the same as a disbursement.
And then so there's a bunch of questions. The first, Janie had one. Will there be a way to combine participant reports in Excel through a unique ID? The unique ID will be on all those reports. You know, that will take some more data manipulation to do to match it, right? But on all the reports, there is a number there to do that matching. The CCID is there. Maria had a question. How do we address this if a person did not move, but the disbursement was already added to service delivery tool? So is that if we need to delete the disbursement, or Maria, can you say a little bit more about what the situation is? Oh, security deposit. Yeah, security deposit bonus. Right now, the way to do it would be to write the help desk, and we would have to do it on the back end to make a change. Yeah, so that's how we'd have to do it now.
And that's same for duplicate disbursements right now. I think it is a good idea to mark it to 0 just to signal to everyone seeing it that it's not real. And then the email to the help desk chat. Email. And then just my last slide talks about the resources for this batch of changes. I want to make sure I briefly touch on that. For letting everyone go. All right, so my email from 10/16 that like notified you of the changes also included a report definition chart. We will be sending out 2 guidance documents about the new search and the resume search, and then about inactive property owners. We are going to send those out probably tomorrow. And this training recording is going to be posted on the First Pick website, plus these slides. Those will also be up there. And then after the batch 2 changes are finalized, we'll increase our office hours to 2 times a week. So that'll be a total of 2 hours a week instead of right now, it's just once a week for 1 hour. So that we're more available to answer any questions that you have about all the new tool stuff. Any other questions or comments in our last couple minutes? All right. If not, that is all we have. keep an eye out for the guidance documents and the training recording and these slides. I'll send those out to everyone. If you have other services staff who wasn't able to attend this, make sure that they watch the training. And yeah, email us with any questions or concerns, and office hours are still happening weekly at this time, 3 to 4 p.m. Eastern. So if you have any questions or need any refreshers, we're available. All right. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.